Dear students, greetings to all. In this module, we'll be continuing with our ongoing chapter of biology, chapter 8, How Do Organisms Reproduce? In this module, we will be basically discussing about the asexual method of reproduction. So, talking about what is reproduction? Reproduction is the process which helps in perpetuation of generation. So, it can be defined as the production of new generation of individuals of the same species that are physically independent of their parents. As it is commonly said, like begets like. That means that similar organisms give birth to similar kind of offsprings. And organism needs to reproduce so as to maintain its life for the continuity of the life of each species so that the ecological chain is maintained in a proper manner. Do organisms create exact copy of themselves? When we talk about the asexual method of reproduction, the individuals which are produced, they are the clones of their parents. But then, talking about the sexual mode of reproduction, it involves the formation of the replica of the parent. So, in case of us, our DNA, it is double helical DNA. That is the DNA of Homo sapiens, it is double helical. It gets expressed into protein which control the expression of a particular character. So, the genetic material, that's the DNA, they've got the functional unit referred to as the genes. And the genes, they regulate the expression of a trait. It means that those traits or characters could be external, that is phenotypic, like the eye color, the skin color, the hair texture. So, these phenotypic characters of us, they can be similar to our parents, the skin color, the height, and the genotypic characters, that means the genetic characters. So DNA, it has got the basic information for making the proteins, and that will help to shape the design of the body of the organism. Do organisms create exact copy of themselves? The DNA copying, it takes place in semi-conservative manner. It means when I use the word semi, it refers to half. So, the parental characters are not totally retained. They are retained up to some extent, and some new characters are as well added up in the offspring. So here we can understand it clearly to the diagrammatic representation. This is the parental strand denoted by pink. The daughter cells, they have both the parent, that means the pink strand, and the blue strand, which is the new one which they have synthesized. Thus, the offsprings which are produced, they've got the characters of the parent as well as they have their own characters. It is a result of sexual reproduction, and thus sexual reproduction, it leads to variation. We can understand it clearly through this pictorial representation that the parent gave birth to two offsprings. They had their own dissimilarities and the similarities. They were like shown with black representation. Now, this parent, it produced the offsprings which had certain characters of the parent depicted in black, the grandparents depicted in black, the parent depicted in green, and the red and the blue coloration indicate their own characters which they have developed during the course of evolution. Do organisms create exact copy of themselves? When we talk about the DNA copying in case of unicellular prokaryotic organisms, their cell division is a method of reproduction. So they thrive in a particular area, a particular habitat, which is referred to as the niche. Let us try to understand the importance of variation with the help of bacterial population. So here we can see through the diagrammatic representation that on a Petri plate we can see the growth of bacterial population. Let us presume that the conditions they change due to global warming and the temperature of the water body it increases. Most of the bacteria will die, but the ones which have undergone variation, which are variants, they can survive over a period of time. The same goes for Homo sapiens. Because of global warming, it might be that the environmental conditions may change. Then, in that case, we also need to bring about changes in ourselves so that we can survive in the changing environmental condition, or else we will perish. The modes of reproduction which are used by organisms. It could be sexual or asexual. Firstly, we'll be discussing about the various modes of asexual reproduction: fission, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, and last but not the least, spore formation. Asexual reproduction by fission, that is through binary fission in case of amoeba and multiple fission in case of plasmodium. We can see through the diagrammatic representation that the amoeba, when it becomes mature, there is elongation of nucleus referred to as the karyokinesis, followed by the division of cytoplasm, that is cytokinesis, giving rise to two daughter amoeba. Similar is the fission process observed in Leishmania, is the protozoan that leads to Kala Azar. It also follows the binary fission mode of asexual reproduction. In case of multiple fission, karyokinesis is not followed by cytokinesis, and hence we can see many cells present in a spore wall, enclosed in a spore wall. Such kind of fission is observed in Plasmodium. That's the protozoan which leads to malaria. Plasmodium basically infects the liver and the RBCs. So there are basically two types of fission. One is binary and the other one is multiple fission. In binary fission, there is production of two individuals, as the name suggests, binary. Whereas when we talk about multiple fission, there are many individuals which are produced. Binary fission will take place only in favorable condition, whereas multiple fission can take place in unfavorable condition as well, because it is enclosed by a spore wall. In case of binary fission, karyokinesis is followed by cytokinesis, and that is not the case in case of multiple fission. Now, the differences, as we had discussed, between binary and multiple, that the parent divides into two. Here it divides into many. Binary fission, here the organism can undergo fission during favorable conditions only, whereas it can be during both conditions. The examples are amoeba, leishmania, and plasmodium in case of multiple fission. Fragmentation. Fragmentation is a mode of asexual reproduction where the mature organism breaks up into smaller pieces or fragments, and then the fragments they develop into new individuals. Example is the filamentous algae, that is Spirogyra. So this is the filamentous algae, that is Spirogyra, which comes under kingdom Plantae division Thallophyta. The special characteristic of Spirogyra is that it possesses spiral or ribbon-shaped chloroplast. It has got its own nucleus. When it becomes mature, a septation divides the parent, producing the daughter fragments. Now these fragments, they can give rise to the new organism. Thus, a multicellular organism, it can divide by this method of fragmentation, where the organism breaks up into many pieces and it gives rise to those pieces. They give rise, or they are the progenitor of the new organism. Regeneration. It is a mode of asexual reproduction in which the organisms can generate new individuals from small body fragments. So it is the ability of an organism to regenerate its lost part of the body which has been removed as by injury in case of some lizards. But here when we take the example of planaria, so in case of planaria, when the body gets it gets divided into three parts, like the head part, the trunk part, and the tail part. It has the capacity to give rise to the whole organism. So from each part, the whole of the organism can be regenerated because there is not much differentiation observed in these cells. The organisms are the lower organisms which have organ level of organization. The same goes for Hydra, where the body is cut into pieces and each piece can give rise to a separate individual. Budding. It is a method of asexual reproduction where the parent part on maturity will develop a bud. Example of that of yeast, where we can see the green color structure is the nucleus, this is the vacuole, and there is a bud or a notch which is formed, which gets detached from the parent and that gives rise to the new organism like the yeast and Hydra. Yeast are basically used for the fermentation process. We can dissolve about 10 gram sugar in 100 ml of water and we can add yeast granules to it. We'll see that we see a profulent growth of the yeast culture in the test tube, and we can observe it under the microscope by placing it on a slide. So the organisms like Hydra and yeast, they exhibit the asexual mode of reproduction, which is budding. Asexual reproduction through vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation includes the formation, it includes the method of asexual reproduction in which vegetative propagules, which are the meristematic part, they can give rise to the whole plant. The meristematic part is the actively dividing part which comprises of the root tip, the shoot tip, and the nodal part. It is advantageous because here we can grow the different varieties of plants in large number. We can produce the hybrid plants and we do not require the seed. So seedless progenies could be produced, like example banana, orange. And the parents, they are genetically similar. The offsprings are genetically similar to the parent. Vegetative propagation, it takes place through tuber. So potato is a modified stem, so it takes place through tuber. We can see that there are eyes or there are buds which are present on the potato and that can give rise to the new potato. Similarly, the rhizome of ginger, we can have the adventitious buds of bryophyllum. We have got the bulb of onion that has got the capacity to give rise to the whole plant. So here the potato tuber, we can see that there are buds and they can be used for vegetative propagation. So we can cut a potato and then we can take out the bud and place it on a wet cotton, and after a few days we'll see that the shoots and roots will emerge out. Similarly, in the bryophyllum leaf, at the notches of the leaf we'll see the adventitious buds. These buds, they'll fall onto the soil and they will develop into the new plant. Vegetative propagation can be carried out artificially even. So we can use vegetative propagation for money plants through stem cutting. So we can cut a piece of money plant and Dip one end of the piece in water, and if we observe after few days the money plant, it gives rise to new fresh leaves. So the methods could be utilized, like artificial methods could be used for vegetative propagation, like cutting, stem cutting of rose, sugarcane could be used to generate new plant. Layering could be practiced in case of jasmine. Grafting, where we take a scion and stalk that can be used to produce hybrid plants. And grafting method is advantageous as we can get the desirable characters which we want in the plant. Now let us talk about tissue culture. So, tissue culture, it is a method of growing the cells or the tissues in artificial medium in vitro conditions, that means in laboratory. Now here we can see that we have taken a petri plate. So what we see over here is a petri plate, and we have put these parts which are referred to as the explant. So the explant could be the root tip, shoot tip, it could be the nodal part. This jelly-like material which we see, that's the nutrient medium. It's semi-solid nutrient medium made up of water, salt, sugars, ions, hormones, enzyme required for the growth of the plant. So here we see that the explant, it grows into mass of cell, and finally we can see the growth of the plantlet, which can then be transferred to the soil. So by this method of plant tissue culture, we can grow plant varieties of desired characteristics. This technique is being employed for quick multiplication of commercially important plants like orchids, dahlia, gladiolus, chrysanthemum, and so on. In this module, we had a detailed discussion on asexual mode of reproduction. Hopefully, you must have garnered all the concepts thoroughly. Thank you for being a patient listener.